Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hi, everyone. As you can see, or not, this is my very first live stream. So, what is the point of this live stream? I just want to create a nice, quiet corner of the internet where people can get together and do art. I am not an artist, but I love art. I can put blobs of paint on a canvas, and hopefully sometimes it looks like something or it really doesn't. That's okay by me. The main thing is that I allow myself to spend a certain amount of time creating art. And sometimes that's really hard to do. So, what I'd like to do is have a place where I am able to join in with other people and feel motivated. So hopefully this is what this channel does. I'm just going to check to make sure that everything is working fine. So hopefully this is what this channel does. I just Okay. So, what kind of art do I do? I do a little bit of everything. So, I'm a terrible drawer. Shh, don't tell anyone I'm a terrible drawer. But I've been experimenting with watercolor paints. I experiment with doing the dotting art. I've experimented with doing a little bit of clay work. And some people might say I'm being a little bit fickle, but I like to call it being creatively adventurous. So, the way that I'd really like to be able to be doing things is we're just going to dive in to creating something. Now, as far as the watercolor goes, there's a couple of different ways I like to do things. This coffee cup was originally, I outlined the coffee cup and then I painted it. This kind of did the opposite. I just put a blob of paint and thought, okay, we're going to make flowers and then we're going to outline them later. Apparently, this is called reverse coloring. So you do the painting first and then you do the outlining. So the other thing I like to do is I enjoy doing neurographic art. I don't know if you've heard of neurographic art, but it is an actual style of art, and I'm going to show you some, that it's supposed to be really good for your brain. So it's supposed to help you create um, pathways, like neural pathways. So basically, this is the kind of thing that is neurographic art. And the key is that you round off all of your corners. So um, you can do it just like that, where you fill in these other kind of doodles. You can do it where you don't. I'm working on this right now. And this one, you can see that there's some of these corners that are not rounded yet. And that's part of the meditation is you go through and you round off all your corners. I even put a little bit of neurographic art into this little doodle tree I did. Just something a little bit fun. Um, I do that kind of thing. I'm just learning. I'm learning how to use my paints. So these are not going to be tutorials or anything. It's just going to be me discovering um, different forms of art. I might work on something a little bit and dabble in some other things, I started working on figuring out how do I make rocks. I want to learn how to make rocks. And so I've been doing a bit of a rock study. This is a little bit of a mishmash of neurographic art and trying to get some shading going on and things like that. So we're going to be doing some interesting things like this. But it's really going to be just going with the flow, spending a little bit of time creating art. This one I created by just laying down colors first and then creating these different layers based on the colors. And I thought that was really interesting. And instead of using black, I used white to outline the circles. So today I'm going to try to just finish up some of the things I've been working on. And um, this one here, I need to finish off because it's going to be a bookmark for my little library. I have a little library, and what I do is I like to create bookmarks for it. And one of the things that I do to stop being, intimidated by a big, huge white piece of paper, I will cut up my pads, watercolor pads, into different sizes and shapes. So if I'm feeling like I really need to get some bookmarks done for the little library, then I will just start out with these little pieces that are already pre-cut. If I want to do some a little bit bigger, but no, I can't do an entire page. I have these different sizes cut up. So all the way up to, I believe, I want to say this is 7 by 6 or something. I don't know. But that's how I end up with the big stack papers. But I haven't really found the pads that I like for a decent price. So I just get a big pad when they're on sale at Michael's and I slice them all up. And then I can work on them. So this whole thing, where did my markers go? Here they are. This whole thing with the reverse coloring, I thought was really, really interesting. And I didn't even know that I was already doing that. So you basically put the blobs down on your paper and then outline in marker. So these have already been done. I did do the stems, right? And I'm just taking a fine liner that is waterproof, so it's not going to bleed. And, the funny thing is, it is harder not to be neat than it is to be neat sometimes. So I'm going to try really hard not to be neat. I'm going to see if I can find anything in the paint that helps guide me to what I want to do. So I'm just going to go up here and say, oh, I like that. And then I'm going to do the rest of these ones, and I'm going to try really hard not to be too finicky about it, because the whole point is to just be able to follow your instincts with this, right? And if you ever want to be whimsical, I just add one of these little guys, and then maybe, I can't remember what they call this in Zentangle and the doodle community, but I really just take a bit of everything from everywhere and do what feels good, feels fine, relaxes me. That's the main thing. This is really part of a relaxation thing. It helps me to just chill my brain. And when you're doing certain things, it's really hard to think about anything else, especially the neurographic art. You can't really think when you're trying to round off these corners. And when you're doing that, um, everything just kind of falls away. And in my opinion, right now, things are a little bit difficult. People are being funny and not in a good way, and so it can be very stressful. And so I'm hoping that we can just spend a little bit of time maybe exploring and trying out different things and seeing what we like and what we don't like, and just kind of going with the flow, uh, really. Now, this guy here, I kind of like having the little dots. Let's just do some little dots. And dots will always create whimsy, whimsy, like fun, right? So I'm going to just put some other dots, and then what I might do is get a larger marker, and these are just the ohu, ohuhu. I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyways, let's see. I'm gonna get the one 1.0, and this is way thicker. So see, so we've got some little dots and some big dots, and they're not really super neat, and they're not meant to be. Let's throw some in here. Why not? And then, because I think the inside of the flowers need a little something, something. They need a little something, something. So maybe we'll, because I also really enjoy doing the stippling. Um, Let me just see if I can find one. I'm not finding one right now, but I like doing the stippling. It kind of, I don't know, it's like that pop art stuff where it creates this shading but with dots, and I just think that creates fun. I think it's fun. So, and you can just sit here mindlessly dotting. And one thing I really like is the what do they call that? Geologic abstracts. And I enjoy doing those where we have a lot of this kind of stippling. And I am going to take a moment to find one that I can show you. See, this is an example of lots of dots and everything. Same kind of idea, right? And let's just see here. Let's just see. Here's a really funky one, right? So if you look closely, there is this little stippling stuff going on. And it just kind of creates this depth. And I did this one too, where I created the background and I did it with uh, plastic. And this is one that has got nothing on it yet, but I'm going to use this to create something. So, this one is really fun. And it's got stippling all around, just a little tiny dots all around the outside, just to give it a little bit of dimension, which I think is cool. But the best example I think I have is this one. These two. Okay. So I started out with all the color done, and then I found these natural separations in the color, and then I created these neurographic type lines where everything was rounded, and then I did the stippling on the outside, and it just adds so much more depth. And then I did basically the same thing this one, and then I added a bit of sparkly sparkly, of course, as you'll get to know. That is how I roll. But I did the background first, which was really interesting, and that was before I even knew that that was a thing. So and this one, I have this amazing, I don't know if you can see it, but it's all sparkly gold. I really enjoy it. I really, really enjoy it. Okay, so this guy here, really, it's really quite simple. So I think what I'm gonna do is got these little bookmark shapes already pre-cut, and it's a bit of a mess. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna do these 3. And I mean, I've got these really short ones. This is a decent size of bookmark. A little bit shorter, but in my opinion, these ones here are really, really tall, so I'm not sure about that. And then these could be quite short bookmarks. I don't know. We'll see. But I would definitely do this one and these 2. And when I'm doing just these little fun little flowers, I'm not going to create a border or anything like that. Sometimes if I'm going to create a background, I will do a border. So let's just see. What are we going to do? I'm just going to use, this is a number 8. This is a number 8, and I am not fussy about my paintbrushes because, quite frankly, I'm not good enough to be fussy. I will graduate into some decent tools. These are just Zen, Royal, and Langnickel. I have no idea. I got them from Michael's, and they've done me well. I mean, they're way better than the really cheapo brushes I've ever used. So you can very much tell the difference. So I'm just gonna move this out of the way. I've got these little guys. This is basically Paul Rubens. Look at the mess. Look at the mess, hey? And when I first started, I thought, oh my goodness, so messy. That is not cool. But it is. You soon learn. You soon learn. Now I just have this little mini mister, and I'm just going to use that to wet my palette. And I don't know what I'm using yet, so I'm just going to wet them all. I'm really looking forward to Prime Days because I've got my eyes on some Kuretake paints. I have this Kuretake paint. It's so nice. It's so nice. These are like graduated colors. The blue black, greenish black, yellowish black, reddish black, purplish black, and brownish black. Oh my goodness. This is really all I need for doing roads and stuff. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. You can see the colors, the way they come out. And I'm using these, not this one. I'm doing kind of like a rock study, and these are those colors. So, so nice. But for the flowers, like I'm going to just do one of these abstract type flowers again. And I just got my regular water, clean water. Cleaned up my water. And I need my cloth. I got a cloth. I like to just use a microfiber cloth or whatever. And actually, I can't find my microfiber cloth, so I'm just going to use a paper towel. And what I like to do, let's move this down here, ruler out of the way, is I am going to wet this first. Where I want to paint, I'm going to wet first. So I think I'm just going to do exactly the same kind of flower. So here is flower number 1. Can you see where it looks wet? Oh, I don't know if you can or not. There we are. Okay, so it's wet right here, right? And I'm actually going to wet where all of my flowers are going to be, because it kind of softens up the fibers of the paper. And this is just Canson watercolor paper. Like I say, I'm not using really spendy materials. Just using this cold pressed heavyweight. What is it? 140 pounds, 300 G. And I have a different one that I got from Michael's, and it's the same thing. I just wait for the big sales to go on, and then I will pick up a pad, big pad, and then I'll just cut it up. Okay, so those are my three globs of water. You can see it's not dripping; it's just wet, not not crazy. And then I mean, I did purple. Let's do like a pinky. Let's do a pinky. So you find where your water was, and all this does is it lets you have more working time. That's all. So it keeps the paint wet for longer. So I'm not doing like explosions or anything like this of color or whatever. I mean, I can, but I'm not going to. Not for this little guy. Uh, the big thing is, where's my other one? There it is. If I had put up like a puddle of water, then it would um, really explode out and be very cool. But I'm not doing that for this one. And the other thing I want to do is, because I kind of want the harder edges, and the other thing I want to do is I want to be able to just kind of push and come up, just so that I can have something uneven, because I'm looking at what I'm going to be doing uh, with the pen. So I want to have it kind of uneven. And remember, I wanted, with my other one, I had, of course I can't find it now. Where did I just put? Here it is. There it is. Remember, I had the different lines of from the paint. So I want to try to create unevenness if I can. So basically, I try to get as much off my paintbrush, and then I pull off some of this paint. And that's why I really like wetting my paper first. It just lets you work with the paint a little bit longer. I mean, I'm not an artist, so you know, I could be wrong, but this just works for me. So you can see where we might end up getting different tones. Now, in this other one, I drew in the stems. It's really that good at drawing stems. So, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. I think I need a brush that has like a much better tip to it. But let's go down here and let's just see what we can do here. Okay, so this one, and I have to practice having a really light touch. And I'm not that good at that part. So let's just see. If I go, I kind of went in, but okay, let's say that's on purpose. Let's just say that's on purpose. Get some of this paint off. And we'll say, okay, that was on purpose. And because we need to have this, right? And then I'm just going to go, right? Like my sound effects. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to go up and up like that. That's okay. That's all right. See? And okay, so I still have quite a bit of paint on my brush. Okay, and then I'm going to do a little bit more. And let's just see. I need to really practice the swoops. I don't know what you call it, really fine line. Okay, and then because I have this here, let's make another one like this. So these are the leaves or whatever that, I don't know what you call that, where you have, I don't know, the foliage that holds the bloom. I don't know what you call that. We're going to add more water. Up. And you know, I'm not going to fuss with these leaves very much, but I figure as long as we have, I mean, I could be really, really sloppy and it would be just as good because the whole focus is going to be the fine line. Um, let's see. This is going to have to come up here. And this is going to have to come up here. Right? Pretty dark. I could make it a lot lighter, but let's do. Pardon me. There we go. And let's do a little bit more water and do this a little bit lighter. Okay, so I'm going to take some of this paint off so that I can have it again where part of it is light and part of it is dark. See where some of it comes off? Because I want it to be kind of not perfect. Oh, is this still wet enough to take in more? It's funny because I use my hand a lot. I don't know why, but I do. So let's take some of this off. There we go. And we want to take some of this off. And that. See, see. I don't know why I do that, but I do. It's just easier. There we are. Okay. All right. So what's going to happen is we're going to basically just do exactly the same as I did before. I'm going to get my 0.2. And I'm not going to go over areas that are not really dry yet. But these parts are dry. And I want to create, we don't want these to be really even, right? Because you know where it looks all messy, but it looks fantastic. That's the kind of look that we're going for. Let's just do this. See, that looks fun, right? And then we're gonna do, I can't remember what these are called, but fun. They're fun. Oh, and one thing I am doing, I'm keeping an eye on the Alec Baldwin trial because I enjoy that. So sometimes what I'll do is I will have that on in the background, and that's fun. It is being really interesting. I enjoy watching some of these streamers that provide commentary. It's a lot of fun. So I'll have that in the background while I'm doing whatever, really, even housework, whatever. There. Okay, so these leaves are still a bit damp, but I can sit here and do my little dots. And if I want, I can, let's see. Do I want to do green? Yeah, let's do some green. This is my bigger brush. Okay, so here is the green. don't want too much, but okay. So let's do this. I find doing it with the brush on brush action is better, right? So we can see that it's starting to take shape. So, and if I want to, I have this most magical metallic colors. These guys here. Oops, starry colors. My goodness, they dance. Colors dance. It's fantastic. So we're gonna do some splotches that are beautiful gold. Let's see. This is a nice light gold. And I don't know if you can see that, but it just dances. So satisfying. I can't even tell you. So we've got a decent amount on there. And then we're going to take our other brush and we're going to tap, 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 tap. Okay, so I don't know if you can see it, but it's so nice. I can't tell you how satisfying that is. Okay, so we still have some lines we can do, and look at how far out I was on that. That just makes it really good. And it's, you have to be kind of brave to do this. To be messy, you have to be brave. And, well, here, look at, there's a nice natural, do you want to go from here? Yeah, let's go from there. Right? And then if you want to be really doodly, you can put like a little star, little star. The doodle bob brass. There you go. Little tiny doodle. Doodle doodle. Bob Rossi. But with doodle stars. Okay. So look at how easy that was. But you have to be brave. You have to be you have to be braver to do this kind of art than to try to do things that are really, really lifelike, because you have to be willing to be sloppy. And in order for sloppiness to look effortless, you got to just do it. You just got to dive in and do it. So we're going to sit, let me just, oh, do you want to know what else we can do with these little blobs? Right? Who doesn't want a bookmark like that, right? Okay. So what else we can do with these little blobs? I'm going to show you. We're going to do, I think I want to do multicolor. Don't need, do I need this? Yes. Let's do a big brush. Okay. And we're going to basically do the same shape. Oh, see, that's all. You see all that water? Okay, I'm going to take some of this water out. Okay, so, and I'm leaving a little bit of dirt in the water, paint in the water, so that we can actually see it a little bit better. And then I'm going to do this blob. It's basically the same flower blob, but it's kind of at an angle right here, I want to say. Right? So the tip of the flower bulb would have been here, and the bottom would be there. And then I'm going to do kind of the opposite here. And we're just doing a blob. We're doing the widest part of the blob at the top, right? And we're going to do this one a little bit more obviously this way, right? So now what I'm going to do is let's use okay, so why don't I do the reddish black first? Now these are really, really opaque, okay? So you don't even need to add water to them. The water that's on your brush will be enough. So we're going to go up here and I'm going to actually zoom in a bit. Let's so zoom in a little bit. Okay, so you see how dark it can get here? And then we're just going to pull it down and let it get less and less. See how I have barely put anything on my brush. So we're going to go up here and pull the color down. Pull the color down. Because I want it to be kind of graduated. And this color is very, it's like it's granulated. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Okay, so there's that one. We're going to let that dry. And then let's go to the second one. And let's make the second one. First, let's get a little bit more water on here. Second one, let's make it blue. The blue, bluish black. So this is just the tip of the brush that has color on it, right? So then I like this. And let's get a little bit more. So here you can see it's kind of doing that explosion thing. And then we just bring it down to really what was the tip, right? When we look at this flower, right, we've got like the tip here. So we're just turning this around, and so you can see that's there, and then that's kind of there, right? That's all it is, right? So we want to make sure, just want to make sure I've got enough color. Maybe I'll do a little bit more up here. See, we barely need anything. So satisfying. Okay. And now we're going to change to, let's go purple. Purple black. Okay. Bluish black. So I'm just going to, barely any. Barely any. I need a little bit more water on the bottom one because it dried up a little bit. There we go. Let's just re-water this, and then we'll add more color. Purple? Yes, that's what we were doing. Okay. And we're gonna, when it dries, you'll see it's really purpley, but a really earthy purple, which is really nice. I really enjoy that. Okay, there we go. So we're gonna let that dry. And so we're gonna come back up here and we're just gonna smooth this out a little bit. And I wanna have more of this color. So I'm just gonna add more up here in the top. right? That's all I'm doing. Add a little bit darker up here so that I don't want that like the cauliflower blooming, but I'm not overly worried about it, really. Okay. And then what I want to do, I want to have kind of like a, maybe let's go with the yellow black. I call it yellow black. So we're going to put a little bit in here. And it doesn't matter if it's still wet because it's just going to blend in. Right? So it's not really dramatic. It's weird because it looks kind of like a green. But it's good. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come down here and then we're going to put, I think, let's put a little bit more of the blue up here. Yeah. And then we'll put some of this green. This says it's green. And we really don't want it to be a dramatic difference, so I don't want to anyways. Okay, so it's kind of mixing in. There we go. Now remember, when it dries, it's going to look different. So again, with the purple one, I need to get it a little bit darker up here. And then I wonder if it's obvious what this is going to be. Okay, so the purple, let's go brown. Brown. All these colors will go together. Doesn't matter. This is a little bit darker. But you see how it's just kind of mixing and mingling in. Okay. And then for the guy at the top again, I need more in here. And I want to take some of this out. See how you can just take it out? And the thing is, did we use yellow? Oh, yeah, we did. The thing is, when you're doing the doodling stuff, like reverse coloring is basically what this is, sort of. You, I'm fussing with it way too much. You don't need to fuss with it this much. There we go. That's better. Okay, so we're going to let that dry for a minute. And then we've got this guy here. And I am going to see if I can be really, really, really sloppy for this one. I just need to be sloppy. Okay, so let's go and I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. Not sure why it's not zooming out. Where are you? There it is. There it is. Okay, let's zoom back out. Right? Right. Okay. And let's just see let's just see how messy we can be. Like I say, it can be very difficult. You have to be very brave. Okay. So we've got, see our water, dirty. And this time I'm not going to wet first. I'm just going to go in. This is a really nice open color. And we're just going to try to, we're going to try to be messy and be okay with it, right? So, oh, oh, oh. And then I'm going to add, I'm not taking off all the color off of here. I'm just going to go over this way and go, 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 like that. And then I'm not going to take all that color off again. And I'm going to go into brighter orange. Go. Oh, see, now I'm being braver. Okay, I'm getting braver. Okay, and then I'll do a yellower, more yellow. Gotta be, just be brave. There we go. Okay, and so what I'm gonna do, I think, is I've got this yellowy stuff on here, and I'm just gonna do that and do that. So it's picking up some of that color. And then I'm gonna go back and get some of this pinky color and do the same thing here. Oh, like that. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Okay. Okay. So we'll set this one aside. We'll put our water here. No accidents happen. Okay. So let's just see what's going on here. Yeah, this is the way we have it, right? Okay. Look at that. It's pretty much dry. It's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Okay. So we're going to take our 0.2, right? Okay. So what we're going to do, we just need to find something here that's gonna be, see these rocks here, all made just from these guys, just from that. Oh my gosh, right? So good. Okay, so let's just see. Oopsie, oopsie. We dropped everything. Okay. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, trial is starting. Okay, so I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do this. Try to be brave and be sloppy. Sloppy, sloppy, sloppy. sloppy. And then here we go with the sloppy bits. Sloppy, sloppy. Just be brave. And don't worry about it. We're just gonna do. There we go. And it's really difficult to not stress about it not being neat. But if I worried, it would actually look odd if I was more neat. And if I tried to get it right in the corners, it would actually look odd. So I'm trying really hard not to stress about it. And I'm even going to say, let's. The birds don't really have that, but that's okay. Let's not stress about it. I do want to put a little orangey dot here. Remember, we're not being fussy. There we go. And then what I like to do is I will have just the jelly roll pens, right? Jelly roll pens. And then I will put the highlight in the eye. Don't stress about it. No need to stress about it. Right? And then I'm going to take, here it is, my rubber brush. And I'm going to take a green, let's say this nothing fancy, nothing crazy, just this one. And actually, I like to have a little scrap of paper just so I can see what color I'm dealing with and how dark it is. So what's going to happen is I'm just going to do this. Be really sloppy about it. There's no need to be fussy. There we go. Right? And I think I might add some extra twirly bits. I want some twirly bits. My pen. And I'm gonna, because then it looks kind of like tail feathers, more like tail feathers. And then all of a sudden they look like, I don't know, fun. Fun. And then, okay, so this is basically the wings. And then what? Nothing really. So we basically managed to have, let's just see what we've done. Let's just see what we've done. And then I'll put, oh, we're not done yet. Wait. when we're done, then I will do the zoom so we can have a nice up close look at them, right? Okay, so these are our really messy flowers. Most of them are dry. Well, there's a little bit of drying that needs to happen. But what I can do is I can take my smaller brush, and I do have a tiny brush. Let me just try my tiny brush. Let me just try my tiny brush. Okay, so we're gonna take this. I just have to practice. To practice this. See, it's still too thick. I need to be able to. And let's like that. So I think that the stem is coming this way. That's a little bit better. I got to do a little bit more. Have to. I'm debating about my brushes. Oh, let's have it so that this. I'm debating about my pointy brushes. I need good recommendations for brushes that keep their points. There we go. Okay, and then I think I'm gonna take my little bit bigger brush and this little bit bigger and to do the leaves. So I'm gonna go, let's see, too much paint, too much paint. Okay, so if I go that, and then like that, right? Who knows? Okay, that, and let's just do this one, and turn to this one. Right? Okay, because remember, we're not trying to be perfect. This is the thing. Be brave and don't be perfect. Right? Take off some of that. And some of this. Okay. And I'm going to need a little bit more for sure. Let's just smack some on there. Smack some on there. There we go. Okay. Alright. So, we can do some of our pan work because most of what's around the flower is now dry. So we're just going to be really, really, really loose. Sometimes it's going to be closer, and sometimes not. There we go. You see this on a lot of the trendy illustrations where they're like, oh, it's sloppy, but it's beautiful. Well, it is if you're brave enough to be sloppy. Sloppy, sloppy. See, and even if the paint isn't quite dry yet, because this is waterproof, it's not going to bleed and smudge. Right, and then we can even go inside and say, okay, this is where we were really kind of creating the, right? And then because we love our splatters, we can sit there and say, okay, so we got pinks. Let's go with, I want to get some of this off. So we're just going to have yellow, like a nice sunshine yellow sort of thing. Okay, so we got the yellow. And then let's see. Oh my gosh, I just got it all over my glasses. So, ooh, that looks really nice. And then maybe, oh, maybe what we can do is maybe put blue. Blue is awesome with yellow. Blue goes gorgeous with yellow. So do we want to go, let's do this. See how nice and creamy the paint is now? Okay. And we might need, it's really creamy, so we may need to add a little bit of water. Okay, there we go. Oh, yeah, right there. Oh, the blue looks great. If you're wondering, the mat that's underneath, oops, a little bit too much, is just a silicone baking mat. That's it. And it just cleans up so easy, and it's not so bright white either. So I'm happy with it. Okay, so we've got some yellow and blue splatters. So what I'm going to do is, oh my gosh, it's been an hour. Okay, what I'm going to do is we're going to zoom in so that you can see the details of what we've done, right? And I think, if and when and whatever I get anybody keeping company, it will no doubt be more about the company than it is about what we're particularly making, right? So let's see here. Let's do a bit of zooming in. Okay. Oh, look at that. All right. So here is this little guy. And actually, let's try something here. We'll take a bit of the zoom away. Let's take the zoom all the way away. And let's do a nice little autofocus and see what happens. See? So we've got some beautiful yellow splatters and a really nice, let's just see here how this would look. Okay. It missed a little bit here. Okay, let's just, okay, here we go. No interference. Right? Look at our lovely little guys. There we are. See the blue? And then you get the idea of how it looks. Right? There we are. Now, let's see what else. This guy here. See with the little dots? I think that works really well. And this one just has black dots. So this is just purple and black. And it's just, It's simple, simple. Not crazy neat or anything like this. And then these pretty little guys. Again, just one little, oops, come on now. There. See with the dots? Are these? Yes, these are the shiny. It's a shiny gold, see? Little stars. Nothing crazy. Look at how sloppy that is. But at the end of the day, it looks really lovely. Comes together quite nicely. Right? And then little birds. Look at our little birds. Looking up, looking over, on the branch. Happy, happy. Isn't that nice? So, these are the bookmarks I have done that are going to go in the little library. I'm going to punch a hole in the tops. And I do have some wax that I use for protecting bookmarks and stuff because people will put them in books and they can easily get. Oh, no, focus. Come on now. Anyways, okay. They can easily get, there we are, damage. So I just put this stuff on and buff it, and then it works really, really well. Really, really well. So let's take the autofocus off so it doesn't. Oh, hang on. Okay, well, there you go. Phone interruption. All right. Um, that's fine. Give me good practice to do for when I'm live streaming next time. Okay, guys, I'm going to try to live stream every other day around 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to be notified, just sit there and hit the notifications, and then you'll know when I'm going live. All right, I will talk to you later. Have a good artsy day, everyone. Let your creativity fly. Bye bye.